He's the happy conservative warrior, Mike Gallagher, from your trusted conservative TV network, Salem News Channel, and broadcasting across hundreds of radio stations nationwide. Here's Mike.
Welcome in on this Friday edition of the Mike Gallagher Show as we head into Memorial Weekend. Joey Hudson in for Mike today. It's a pleasure to be with you. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453 is how you join the conversation. You can text me on the MyPillow text line. You can call. Teresa will put you in queue. We'll talk as time permits. Email me directly, joey@joeyhudson.com. We have a lot of breaking news today. Busy Friday. The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld President Trump's option to remove Biden-appointed officials within the federal government. This is a case of the National Labor Relations Board Chairman Gwen Wilcox being removed from her duties, and the Merit Systems Protection Board member Kathy Harris, two Democrat appointees of the Biden administration. President Trump removed them from their positions early in his administration. They sued, of course, and the Supreme Court agrees that President Trump has that option. He can remove people from their job and replace them with people who are better aligned with his administration. We'll dive into that in just a moment. Also, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday declared that the Democrat Party has never been more radical and out of touch with the needs of the American people, she said, referencing those Democrats who voted against President Trump's big, beautiful bill this week. Members of the House pulled an all-nighter Wednesday going into yesterday morning in order to pass the bill. It was a squeaker passed by one vote. Every single Democrat voted against it. Unfortunately, two Republicans did as well. We're going to jump into that as well. The Department of Homeland Security is eliminating the student visa program at Harvard University due to pro-terrorist conduct at campus protests. This is in response to Harvard's refusal to comply with its request for behavioral records of student visa holders. This will hit Harvard hard because they depend a lot on the high tuition that these foreign students bring to their university. And it may not just be Harvard. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says she's going to be looking at other schools as well. And we're learning more details about the horrific shooting of two Israeli embassy staffers outside of D.C.'s Capitol Jewish Museum, with officials saying that the suspect literally went back and fired more rounds into their bodies as they're lying on the ground to be sure that they're dead. Yesterday, interim U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro, announced murder charges against 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez. He's accused of killing the two Israeli embassy workers in cold blood Wednesday night in the name of a free Palestine. Rodriguez is a resident of Chicago. He's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the murders of a young couple, Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram. Pirro announced the charges at a news conference yesterday, saying a young couple at the beginning of their life's journey, about to be engaged in another country, had their bodies removed in the cold of the night in a foreign city in a body bag. Here's Janine Pirro at her news conference yesterday announcing the charges.
2 families now are left to grieve for dreams that will never be realized. And as I speak right now, there is an individual who is being presented in court and charged with various crimes. 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, Illinois, is now charged by complaint after his initial appearance before U.S. Magistrate Judge Matthew Sharbaugh with the following: murder in the first degree for the murder of 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky, a foreign official and official guest of the United States. Mr. Lashinsky was here on official business for the State of Israel. The defendant Rodriguez is also charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree for both Yaron Lashinsky along with 26-year-old Sarah Lynn Milgram of Kansas. In addition, there are several felony firearms charges for discharging a firearm in the middle of a violent crime and for causing the death of an individual through the use of that firearm. Now, this investigation is continuing, and as you can see, we have most of the stakeholders here today who will be given an opportunity to speak with you. But what I want to be clear about today, since this is the first time you're hearing from me, is that this is a horrific crime, and these crimes are not going to be tolerated by me and by this office.
Rodriguez could potentially face the death penalty. If convicted of either of the two counts, he could face also a minimum sentence of 30 years in prison and a maximum sentence of life behind bars as well. A lot of conversation about the potential death penalty. We're going to get in that in just a moment. Authorities in Chicago raided his apartment yesterday. Agents and officers in tactical gear carrying rifles and a ballistic-type shield were seen swarming the brick building around 9 a.m. yesterday morning. Images from Fox 32 Chicago show investigators on the scene for much of the day yesterday. The Metropolitan Police in D.C. said that it's increasing its presence at religious institutions across the city after this horrific crime. And also, according to an additional report, Rodriguez appeared to show no remorse for his actions. He, according to the report, fired several more times after the initial shots. Witnesses say that he had shot these two young people. He then walks back over and fires additional rounds into their body as they're lying on the ground. Police said the video shows a slim person wearing a blue jacket with a hood, a large dark-colored backpack, blue pants, and light-colored shoes, which is consistent with the clothes that Rodriguez was wearing. You can then see a man walking toward the museum and then walking away from where this horrific crime took place. What do you think? Are you good with the death penalty here? Is this a crime that warrants the death penalty? 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. And speaking of the death penalty, a case in my home state of South Carolina, a death row inmate who killed his parents back in the late 1990s says that he's ready to drop all legal challenges to his death sentence, basically asking the court to allow him to fire his attorney so that he can receive the sentence that the court gave him, death. He's ready to die. What do you think about that as well? Should the South Carolina courts allow this? Allow him to, basically he's asking to represent himself and to drop all appeals. Many of you are texting saying, look, when the death penalty is given, it should be quick. Shouldn't be months and years of appeals. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Your comments are welcome on the MyPillow text line. Always use promo code MikeG when you go to MyPillow.com, and you'll get the very best savings of all the products, the towels, the pillows, the Giza Dream Sheets, any size, any color, on sale right now for $49.98 when you use promo code MikeG. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike on this Friday before Memorial Day. And it's Joey Hudson in for Mike Gallagher. Yes, it is Free Speech Friday. I love sitting in for Mike on Fridays because I like Free Speech Friday. It's where I'm all ears. Whatever you want to talk about is wide open. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453 is how you join the conversation. Quick call, and Teresa will put you in queue. We'll talk as time permits. You can also text me on the MyPillow text line, and you can email me directly, joey@joeyhudson.com. On the text line, Judy from Florida says, the man that shot and killed the Israeli government officials deserves death. Unfortunately, that would make him a martyr. Instead, I suggest a sentence of life in solitary confinement, no parole, no contact with anyone, no mail, no calls. As the victims no longer have those rights, neither should he. Another texter says death penalty within a month. That is the thing about the death penalty, isn't it? It can take literally years, decades, for it to be carried out. In my home state of South Carolina, we just recently resumed carrying those sentences out, as for years our options was the electric chair and an injection. And we couldn't get the drugs for the injection, and death row inmates were allowed to choose which option they wanted. So they would automatically choose the lethal injection because they knew that it wouldn't be carried out. We have now added the firing squad, and we've been able to get the drugs for the lethal injection. So we have resumed carrying out those sentences, and we've had several this year. Texter says, good morning, Joey. Janet from Satellite Beach, Florida. I agree with you that the death penalty is warranted, but any Muslim alive would welcome the death penalty. I think to truly punish this guy, you give him life in prison with no parole. Maybe so. Love to get your thoughts on the My Pillow text line, 800-655-6453. Portions of the Mike Gallagher Show brought to you today by Hartness, Hotel Hartness. It's Mike's home away from home when he travels here to the upstate of South Carolina. Travel and Leisure World's Best rates it the #1 resort in South Carolina, the 3rd best resort in the United States, and the number 24 in the world. And it's right here in my hometown in the upstate of South Carolina. You can stay there too. Go to hotelhartness.com. That's hotelhartness.com. Let's go back to the phones. We have, let's see, Stan is in Iowa. Welcome, Stan.
Good morning. I'm just calling. I heard a lot of details in the afternoon shows yesterday, and some of them will just make you sick about this evil tool of Satan.
Yep.
He shot both of them from behind. They didn't know what hit him. He stopped and reloaded. It sounds like the male was probably most likely gone. The female was trying to get back up on her hands and knees.
Yeah.
He reloaded the gun and unloaded into her again.
Yeah, it
I
was
would have
just
loved to have been an armed citizen on that site, and that's what this country needs more of, because we wouldn't have to worry about this guy's day in court.
Yep. That's very, very true. Very true. If there had been a good guy with a gun close by, it could have had a different outcome for sure. Appreciate your phone call. 800-655-6453. One line open. Karen is in Detroit. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, Mike. I'm glad to be on with you. Listen, I have a question for you. This Ilar Homar, I believe I'm saying her name right, and Rashida Tlaib, they used to shout this stuff from the river to the sea. This is the end result for them. This is the end result. They don't care about our safety. It's only a majority of people overseas they care about. We have big issues here. And the death penalty, Mike, absolutely. I don't want my tax dollars going for that. Save my tax dollars for somebody who really needs it, not to house somebody in jail. He shot them, went back and unloaded again in them. And Janine Shapiro, God bless her. I hope she goes for blood. This is the end of this.
Yep.
Can you imagine she's getting her up and he shot her again?
Yep. Karen, it's horrific, Karen, and I agree with you. He does not deserve to live, for sure. 800-655-6453. Love to get your opinion on this Friday. It is Free Speech Friday. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm all ears. Hey, let me take a minute to remind you about the Patriots Alaska cruise. Yours truly, along with Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, Jennifer Horn, Joe Piscopo. It is a great trip. The beauty of Alaska is amazing. I was fortunate enough to participate last summer. Looking forward to being back in August. Space is limited, so don't wait to book your cabin. Do it right now. Text travel to 94878, 94878. You can also call 855-565-5519 and book your cabin, and I hope to see you aboard our Patriot Alaska cruise coming up this summer. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike.
Work.
Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy.
In the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike.
Actually, Joey Hudson in for Mike on this Friday, headed into the Memorial Weekend. Glad to have you. 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453 is how you join today's conversation. You know, parents should never have to worry about sending their children off to school, off to college campuses. But that's not always the case, because unfortunately we're losing these young kids to hazing. There's an informative column that is in a popular newspaper in my home state of South Carolina, the Post and Courier, that addresses information that all parents and grandparents of college students need to be aware of. It's titled, "New Data Show South Carolina's Hazing Problem is Broader Than You Think." The column is written by Cindy Hips and Elizabeth Allen. It reads, "For South Carolinians, the name Tucker Hips is synonymous with the fight against hazing. Tucker, a 19-year-old Clemson student and pledge at Sigma Phi Epsilon, died in September of 2014 after an early morning run with fraternity members and other pledges near the Clemson campus. His death and the subsequent activism were instrumental in the passage of the state's Tucker Hips Transparency Act, which basically says that schools have to publish on a easy-to-find website any incidents of a campus fraternity or sorority." Joining us today is Elizabeth Allen, one of the authors of this. Elizabeth is professor of higher education at the University of Maine, where she leads the Hazing Prevention Research Lab. She's also principal at StopHazing.org, where she founded and currently leads the Hazing Prevention Consortium. Elizabeth, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with us. Let's start with a quick summary of what your organization, StopHazing.org, does.
Yeah, so it's our mission to help prevent hazing in schools, colleges, universities, and other organizations. We take research and we translate it to practice. So we create resources, no-cost resources for colleges and universities, for high schools, and we create information for parents and the general public to use to be informed about hazing and to build skills and awareness for how to report it and prevent it.
Yeah. In 2008, you were the lead investigator for the National Study of Student Hazing, the most comprehensive study of student hazing in the U.S. You're presently leading an effort to update the data, as I understand it. There have been a good bit of awareness since 2008, unfortunately, because we've had other incidents of death as a result of hazing. Do you believe things have improved on campuses around the country since you published your first data?
Well, that's a great question, and that's going to be part of our study. You know, we're relaunching the national study next year, and that will help to provide a point of comparison to the 2008 data. I mean, so much has changed since 2008, of course, in our world, and so it's really important to get some updated data. I think, as you mentioned, we've continued to see lives lost due to hazing. There have been more than 100 deaths since 2000.
Wow.
And those tragedies tend to make the headlines. But there are other forms of harm that happen from hazing that, people never see or hear about. And so, we want to update the data so we have a better picture of the nature and extent of hazing currently. And I think we know, based on anecdotal data, based on the work that we do with colleges and universities, we still know that the problem is fairly widespread, and there are, concerns about the harm that's happening. And it's not just in colleges and universities, it's in high schools as well. And research indicates it may be happening as early as middle school.
Yeah. On our guest line today, Elizabeth Allen with StopHazing.org. Elizabeth, do other states have similar laws like the Tucker-Hips Transparency Act? And how does this new federal law that was just passed in December, the Stop Campus Hazing Act, work in conjunction with the state laws?
Yeah, so great question. There are currently 9 states that require transparency, that have some kind of statute requiring colleges and universities to be transparent, to provide the public with information about hazing incidents, South Carolina being one of those states. As you mentioned, the Stop Campus Hazing Act, signed into law in December, is going to require all colleges and universities across the nation to have a transparency report that's publicly available online in a prominent location on their website. So we will soon have information shared. And again, this is for documented hazing incidents that have been reported and found in violation. So
sure.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, as I understand it, and I know how the Tucker-Hips Transparency Act, how it operates in my home state of South Carolina, but both of these laws, they're focusing on reporting. But do you think that they're being effective, and are school officials taking action when they receive these reports?
Well, I mean, first of all, you're right. They're based on reported incidents, and we know from the research that we've done that very, very few, a very small percentage, less than 10% of incidents are actually reported by the students.
Yeah.
So, so we're only seeing a small fraction, and then what happens after it's reported is difficult to know for sure. I think it really ranges based on what we know, depending on the school policies, depending on the state laws, depending on whether or not a college or university has a protocol in place for how they deal with an incident when it's reported. And we're definitely seeing more colleges and universities taking action to be prepared and to inform their students about how to report a hazing incident, how they can do so anonymously, which is important, and what to expect when they report, and also being more transparent, as we talked about earlier, about what the result of the investigation was.
Sure. Elizabeth Allen is with me today. You can go to her website, StopHazing.org, and see all the information. This is a real problem. If you have a child in school, or if you're a grandchild in school, you need to be aware of this. Elizabeth, most of this is focused on the Greek community on the campuses, but I was surprised to learn that it's not just the Greek organizations, though. I mean, hazing occurs in other campus life as well.
You're exactly right, and I think many more people need to learn that and to be aware of it, because we found in the 2008 study that 55% of college students who participated in some kind of club, team, or organization had experienced hazing. And while many of those were in fraternities and sororities, not all. We found that hazing was happening in athletics, of course, we've heard about that, but also in honor societies, in performing arts groups, marching bands, a cappella singing groups. We found it's still happening in club sports and intramural teams even. Yeah.
Elizabeth, I appreciate the work that you do, and all these parents. It's sad to watch this. I've known Cindy and Gary Hips for a long, long time. I knew Tucker Hips from the time he was just a small child, and it's just been a sad, sad time for the Hips family. But they have they've done a lot of work in educating parents so that they don't have to go through what they've gone through. What in our final moment or so together, what is your advice to parents of children who may be looking at going off to college this fall?
Yes. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge Cindy and Gary and all they've done in the wake of the tragedy, and to raise awareness on this issue, to work to help support and lobby for the Stop Campus Hazing Act. I think, building on their work, we are trying to get the word out to more parents. We have a blog post on our website on stophazing.org that is 10 tips for talking with your teen about hazing. And I think that's what's most important, is to not delay the conversation, not assume that just because they're at a good school or they're going to a good place that hasn't had any incidents that you know of, don't just assume that everything's going to be okay. But just be prepared and have a conversation and talk about what hazing might look like and what your student can do in terms of their options for if they find themselves in a hazing situation. And I would really strongly encourage families to be informed of, find out from their campus who the people are, where to go if they have a suspicion, because we know that students often talk with their friends and families about hazing situations when they don't report it officially. Sure.
Elizabeth, again, I appreciate what you do. I'll be following your organization as you do update the data there. StopHazing.org, StopHazing.org. Hope you have a wonderful Memorial weekend, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. You too. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Elizabeth Hand. Again, go to our website, StopHazing.org, because you need to be aware. If you have a child who is in college or looking to go to college, university this fall, this is a real issue. And I had to watch my good friends Cindy and Gary as they lost Tucker in 2014 in just a totally unnecessary situation as he was a freshman at Clemson University, pledging and out for an early morning run, and lost his life because of this situation. And you never think that it's not going to happen to you, because these other families, these other parents have thought the same. So StopHazing.org. Now, as you get ready to go into the Memorial Weekend, I need your help. Let me invite you to join other listeners who've already made generous donations to our annual Angel Tree Camp Drive. We're sending children with a mom or dad in prison for a week of fresh air activities like swimming and horseback riding. Most importantly, though, and listen to me closely here, they hear the gospel. Some of them for the very first time. Many of them accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior at an Angel Tree Camp, and this is what we're trying to do. This is where I need your help. I need you to go to MikeOnline.com, click on the banner, make a difference in the lives of prisoners' children banners right across the top. You can't miss it. For just $200, you can send a child to summer camp. You and I have the power to change their future and really transform a child's life for eternity through this nonprofit prison fellowship. Steve Collins of Angel Tree Camp offers this reason why you should help a child that you will never meet.
Because when you invest in the life of a child and you give them an opportunity to experience the reality of who God is and what his love does for their lives, and you pour that investment into that child's life, you're not just reaping benefits this year, but you're changing the course of their life. You've got kids that are growing up and establishing their own families and contributing to society, and you're shaping the future of our nation. And there's no better place to invest your money.
Your $200 contribution will help make it possible to send a kid to camp for an entire week, and it could change their life. Will you help me help these children? Mike left me in charge today. He said, you got to get some more kids to camp. So here's what I'm going to do. If you will go online right now to MikeOnline.com, click on the banner, and sponsor a child for $200, then text me on the MyPillow text line. 800-655-6453. Text me that you've done that, and I'm going to match yours. So right now, you can help send 2 kids to summer camp. So go online, do the $200. I'm going to do this for the next 5 people who make a $200 donation. It's real simple. Just go to Mike Online. You can also call 888-206-2788. That's 888-206-2788 or MikeOnline.com. Click on the banner. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and thank you for your support to help these kids, help change these kids' lives. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike today.
Mike Gallagher.
Yes, it is Free Speech Friday. Joey Hudson in for Mike today. Whatever's on your mind, I'm all ears. 800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453. You can also send me a quick text on the MyPillow text line. Always use promo code MikeG when you go to MyPillow.com. Boy, Mike Lindell still has some great deals on the Giza Dream Sheets. A couple weeks ago when Mike and I were up in Minnesota at the MyPillow plant, it was just amazing to watch the process. And Mike talked with us about how, of course, the big box stores canceled him, and he's got these great deals on the Giza Dream Sheets. And I can tell you firsthand, it's what I sleep on every night. The Giza Dream Sheets are the most soft, the most comfortable sheets you will ever own. And he's got a great deal for you right now. Any color, any size, you can get the queens, the kings, the split kings, the cow kings, all for $49.98, but you have to use promo code MikeG when you're ordering online. If you're going to call, which you can at 800-928-6034, always have your credit card ready there, and let them know up front that you're using promo code MikeG so you get the very best deal. Also, for a limited time, when you order more than $100 worth of merchandise, you'll receive $100 in free digital gifts, and you get a free multi-use MyPillow 2.0 and a USA Revival Roll and Go cover with any purchase. That's a $39.98 value that you're going to get free for just using promo code MikeG. Go to MyPillow.com. These amazing offers aren't going to last long, so order right now. You can call 800-928-6034. Again, always use promo code MikeG. Wow. We've had a busy morning. Glad to have you joining me today. We got a lot more to cover as well. Your phone calls are welcome. 800-655-6453, 800-655-MIKE on this Friday before Memorial Weekend. What are you going to do over the weekend? You got some big plans with your family? Cooking out? Seeing your baseball? Don't forget the true meaning of Memorial Day. Coming up, the Department of Homeland Security is eliminating the student visa program at Harvard University because they have just been ignoring the Trump administration and some of the information they need. That and much more coming up on the Mike Gallagher Show. I'm Joey Hudson, in for Mike today.